Okay, everybody, we are live. I am Stephanie Massman, BAM Connections, and welcome to episode 5 of BAM Connections Live. Okay, so today's guest is Dr. Renee Gordon, and she'll tell you a little bit about herself. The topic today is called From Tragedy to Triumph, how loving yourself always comes first. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about Dr. Renee. Dr. Renee is America's #1 love and relationship coach, in-demand international speaker, and ordained minister who has helped over 1,500 couples find love and respect. Her doctorates are in philosophical theology and advanced human sexuality, and has authored multiple books, including Finding Your Love at Last, and Finding Your Love at Last Duets, and soon to be released, Swiping for Mr. Right, Finding Your Soulmate in This Virtual World. So before I introduce Dr. Renee to you, I just want you to understand this show is about people who are experts in their field. They are amazing in what they do, and yet they have had some type of a tragedy, or they've overcome something really big to be where they are today. And so I invited Dr. Renee on to tell you a little bit about her story, and why she is as successful as she is today. So Dr. Renee, with that, why don't you tell our audience your story?
Thank you. Thank you so much, Stephanie, for this golden opportunity. I really appreciate it, and you're doing such a great job.
Thank you.
So where would you like me to start?
Your story.
Okay. All right. So I have a slide deck here. Hopefully you can be able to see the slides. And I don't see them yet. There they are, I think. But okay, good. Thank you so much for your technology. So this is who I am. I'm Dr. Renee Gordon, and I'm a love and relationship expert. As Stephanie had mentioned, this is my family, and this is my why. This is why I get up in the morning, and this is why I do what I do to help so many people in my community and throughout the world, help them find love at last. But more importantly, finding love within yourself. So many people find this as through their life as an adult. They find that they live in a pattern of survival. And what does that mean? Well, all of us as humans are going to lead our life, or we have led our life with not by the end of our life when we pass. We all have been, we don't live our life unscathed. We've all been touched by hardship, hurt, and it's how we deal with it. Now, what I mean by that is how we survive and how we get along with other people, and how we're aware of our, pitfalls or our rackets versus staying in our strong suits. Okay, next slide. The thing I want to share with you, I was in a very bad car accident when I was 16. And in this terrible car accident, my father had passed away in the car accident. It was three drunk drivers had hit us, one behind me rear-ended, another one in the front, and over to the driver's side, all at the same intersection in Los Angeles. What happened at this time, I was 16, my father flew out of the car, my left leg was mangled in the engine, and it was in a terrible, terrible car wreck. And so we went into emergency surgery. My father had emergency heart surgery as well. I went into a coma for 9.5 months, and fast forwarding, as I got out of my coma after 9.5 months, I didn't realize that my leg was mangled in the engine, and I had a full-on cast. So it was twisted, and it was just in really bad shape, and right now I have metal in my leg. But more importantly, what happened is when I recovered, and I opened my eyes, I said, "Where's my father?" They said, "He's not here." I said, "Well, is he at the cafeteria? Is he having a cup of coffee down the hall?" No, he's not here with us. He has passed on. He died the day after the accident. I said, "Well, I want to go to the funeral." They said, "You can't. That happened 9.5 months ago." So I didn't realize at this time that my father had passed away. And I was Daddy's little girl. I was his right-hand person, and he depended on me. I depended on him, and he helped me throughout my life. Starting at a very young age, 2 years old, 3 years old, just telling me about stories. Instead of telling me Grimm's fairy tales, he read philosophy to me. So fast forward again, I'm in this car accident. I wake up out of the coma and I have to figure out how to get out of this hospital. So I couldn't go back home. My mother blamed me for the accident. I had a lot of challenges with my mom. So I moved out, and what my friends did, they got me a small apartment in Hollywood. Now, this is not the apartment in Hollywood, but it represents kind of like a rat hole that I lived in for about a good 9 to 12 months. So it was a lot of gangs there, the Crips and the Bloods and Hell's Angels, and I was scared, and I had to go down the stairway. I was on the third floor on my butt because I had a full-on cast. So I had to move along in life, and in the morning I would go for therapy at 7 o'clock in the morning, and then get back upstairs right away before everybody woke up. So you could the next slide. When I was little, as I told you, my father. You can move to the next slide, please. My father gave me some books starting at 5 years old. The first book he gave me, Stephanie, was Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill at 5 years old. And I
What
said
a
to him, I
great
said,
book. Yes.
thank you. Yeah, thank you. So I said, Dad, how am I going to read this book? He said, well, all the other books I've given you, you always use a dictionary. I said, yes. And so he said, read this book, and on your 6th birthday, I want you to write a report. And if you don't understand the words, look it up in the dictionary. That's what it's there for. So I said,
Wait, can I stop you
okay.
for a second? Can I stop you for a second?
Yes.
You were able to read at 5 years old at this level?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
And
Very
so if I
impressive.
don't understand, thank you so much, Stephanie. I appreciate that. At 5 years old, I'm looking at words in the dictionary, and it's a little bit difficult. And then on my 6th birthday, on our way to go to the nice restaurant, which was called Lori's Prime Rib in Beverly Hills, which is my favorite restaurant to this day. I gave him my report. He said, "Great job." He read it. Took a while to read it, and he said, "Great job. I want you to do another one. I write the same book report on the same book on your 7th birthday, but not just one book. I'm going to give you another book." And it was called How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie.
Yeah.
So I said, another book? So, of course, it takes me a long time. So my birthday is February 14th on Valentine's Day. Starting in November, I started rereading both books. Wrote another report on how to win friends and influence people, as well as Think and Grow Rich. So on my 6th birthday, gave him 2 book reports, did the same thing before we went to the restaurant. He said, he read it and he was so happy. I saw a big smile on his face. He said, "This is excellent." I said, "Great." So he said, "This is your 3rd and last book I'm going to give you. And it's very important that you read this and do the same thing on your 8th birthday. It's called Siddhartha by Hermann Hesse, Study of Buddha." Now, I said, "What does that mean?" So he said, "Well, we're not Buddhists, but my father's Jewish, my mother's Catholic, so I carried a lot of guilt when I was little." And so he said, it's a study of right action and correct exchange in so many words. The study of karma, how to create good karma, how to when people do something wrong, let them just be, and karma will go back to them, whether it's good or bad. So he just showed me that right action and correct exchange and connecting with people and people in my life. He said, you'll see that this is valuable lessons as you get older. So I read it every year, Stephanie, all these 3 books, gave him a report every year. And then on
Wow.
16th birthday, he had passed. So I still read the books. I've read them, all of them, over 30 times. The point that I'm sharing with you is that the study and the philosophy of all these 3 books helped me get to where I want to go, from 16 years old to 18 years old, and getting my real estate license when I turned 18, buying real estate at 18 and 19 years old, buying my first home in Pacific Palisades, and then on, and then turning it over to buying apartment buildings, shopping centers, buying it with other investors and things like that. So I multiplied my business. And so what I'm sharing with you is that from triumph to tragedy, from tragedy to triumph, that you can
Yes.
do anything you want if you put your mind to it, commitment, and do whatever it takes. It takes a lot of sweat, blood, sweat, and tears, but mostly sweat to get to where you want to go. There's times that people say, oh, it's the weekend, it's Friday, oh, it's Saturday, let's go out and party. Weekends are for the week. If you're an entrepreneur and you're serious about your business, you'll commit to whatever it takes. I just learned over the weekend a thing called a clarification calculator, which shows a whole stream of different frames that you can put into your life, whether you want to work out and train, hire a trainer. You want to get better in your business, hire a business coach. My husband's a business coach, but hire a business coach to help you with business plans, whatever it takes to make your business run smoother. You want to do marketing, how to market your business, how to do social media. Hire somebody who's a specialist in social media. You want to get an assistant, hire a VA, whatever it takes, and do whatever it takes. Don't watch the Netflix. Don't watch TV so much. Read, read, read about personal development. If you're not in that place of personal development and self-growth, you're falling behind, especially if you're an entrepreneur. So I'm encouraging all of you who are listening, and I know that Stephanie has a huge, huge audience, is be in that place of, in that space of centeredness where you have a direction. Doesn't matter how old you are, whether you're in your 20s, 40s, 60s, or even 70s, you can find your love at last. You can get to where you want to go in your life, in your business. It is all up to you. It's taking responsibility of your actions, taking responsibilities of your words, whatever you share. You are also the 5 people you surround yourself with. So if you're around people who say, let's go watch Netflix, let's go drink a bunch of beers and go out and party and get smashed and have a huge hangover on Monday, then if you want to be like that, and you wonder later on, why aren't I having any friends who are motivating me, who are inspiring me, who are helping me grow up, versus people around you trying to pull you into that pot like crabs, and you're that one crab trying to get out. Or here's another one. Here's another metaphor. You're the frog that's turning up, that somebody's turning up the fire in that pot, and it's starting to boil, but you don't feel it because you've been sitting and stuck in your poop. Otherwise, be that frog that jumps in the water and jumps out because the water is boiling. So here's another slide. It's called Safety Behind the Emotional Mask. A lot of people put a mask on. They have insecurities. They put a facade on. I know that LA is known for that. Oh, everything's fine. Everything is cool. It's just a mask. And behind it all, people are going crazy. They're living not in integrity with themselves, but also having this phoniness. And that's why they have the emotional mass, a sense of insecurity. They may have this beautiful car, but then they don't have a nice home, or their credit score is at 450 or something like that. But it's the image, and that's a lot of people live with that emotional mask to hide behind it and not living in an authentic way. Next slide, please. So what I'm sharing with you is, when you have created this pattern of survival, you can't just have a pattern of survival. It's more about thriving and becoming the best version of yourself. And what does that mean? Know who you are. Know what your values and beliefs are. Be in integrity. If you're single and you're looking for that love at last, it doesn't just come out of the sky just by going online. You can find anybody. It's like throwing a big bowl of wet noodles, spaghetti noodles up in the air. But until you find your values and beliefs and know who you are, you'll be attracting the same person that you just broke up with. So when I share with everybody, know who you are, love yourself first. It is so important. And then you'll start attracting the right people around you. So don't be in just survival. That means you're just existing. Be in a place of authenticity. Be in a place of integrity with who you are. And that's the most important thing. So don't just survive, thrive. The next slide, please. Okay, we talked about the pattern of survival. We did that already. The next slide, please. And okay, let's see. Oh, keeping it safe. And okay, there we go. Keep me safe and allow me to compartmentalize my pain. What I was sharing with you when I was younger, I would put in my pain. I was in a lot of pain because my father had just died. I was in a lot of pain because my head was ripped open. My head had gone through the windshield, so my skull was exposed, and I was bald for a while, and my left leg, it was just mangled, even though I had a cast on it, and there was all metal through it right now. There was a lot of pain, but I would have to compartmentalize that pain, study for my real estate sales license, go through college for my broker's qualification license for that, to qualify for those special classes, and then do other academia things as well. So I put aside the pain, put aside my broken heart when my father passed away, and just focus on getting out and being the best version of myself. I had a conversation with God when I left the hospital. I said, why, God, why didn't you take me or leave my dad here? And as I grew into being an adult, into a woman, I got the answers by, you have so much to give. And I remember that as I did more writing, I did a lot of writing when I was in the hospital, and then also by myself in that one bedroom, or I should say a single apartment in Hollywood. It was on the corner of, let's see, near the corner of Franklin and Vermont, kind of a rough area on a street called Berendo. I did a lot of writing because I was at home a lot. And the way I brought money in, I was doing telemarketing on the phone. So because I was badly scarred and my left leg was mangled, I couldn't leave my home. Plus, I didn't have a car. And at the time, I've never taken a bus. So I depended on some friends to drive me here and there to therapy. But what I'm sharing with you, I did whatever it took. Instead of saying that I'm a victim, woe's me, I was victorious. So I figured out, what can I do? I have a phone, I have my voice, I have the teachings and philosophy that my father taught me. I can make money doing something, and that's what I did. So that's what I did, and I evolved and moved from there to my first place was in Pacific Palisades.
Dr. Renee,
Yes.
Dr. Renee, I need to just stop you for 1 sec. We have just about 5 more minutes, so I wanted to give you a heads up about that, okay?
Yes, thanks for letting me know. All right, so anyway, so that's what I did. I moved forward and moved to the Palisades, and I bought another house in the Palisades and bought some apartment buildings in Brentwood and in Santa Monica and in Venice. So what are the benefits that keep you from finding your true self? Have you ever experienced the real you in your life? And these are questions that I ask my clients. Are you willing to let go of that mask to be the real you? And is this mask a benefit, or is it a cross to bear in your life? So Stephanie, I'm pretty much complete with this. And if somebody has questions, Stephanie, can you hear me?
Yes, of course I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, great. So does any of your audience members have any questions?
People can ask it now, or they can ask it later, during the replays, because this will be obviously replayed. But, I wanted to thank you for coming on, because I really sometimes feel that when people, and it's terrible. I mean, I can't even imagine being in a coma for 9 months and what life must have been like for you, waking up almost, a year later, and what that was like. But that had to have been so jolting, and it had to have made such an impact on who you are today. I wish that we had more time
No problem. There is a question about underneath where your face is. It says you are a spitting image of something. Underneath, you see the blue line, Stephanie? And underneath the blue line, there's some words about.
Yeah, it sounds to me like you're a spitting image of your father, carrying on his beliefs, spreading his message. He taught you at such a young age. So you are, and I'm sure your dad would be incredibly proud of you today. There's one question. What kept you going on when you were in your darkest times?
Oh, that's a great question. What kept me going is I talked to my dad a lot. Wow. I talked to my dad a lot, and I wrote him a lot of letters. I talked to God. So I had God holding one hand and my dad holding the other hand. And I'm thinking in my relationship that I had with my dad, Stephanie, is the same relationship you probably have with your father. I know you see your parents every Monday for dinner. And when I ask you questions about that, the brief times we've had conversations, I think, wow, wouldn't it be nice to have dinner with my father?
I'm so sorry.
So that's okay. I didn't mean to trigger something, but it triggered something in me. And I thought I was over this.
Well, that's not
so I celebrate when you are seeing your dad and your mom. I celebrate. It's like, oh wow, she's so lucky. She gets to go to a restaurant with her parents. And you're kind of old school, Stephanie. Your dad is. He likes to go to the restaurants and fun things like that. And your father is very successful in what he does, as my father was in his business as well. And we're always daddy's little girl. I remember this one time really quickly that we got a Malibu dream house. And he built a platform in the family den, and I was on the floor, and he was helping me with the directions. And we got all these cars. It was a pink Corvette, and then we got a red Ferrari, the Barbie thing, and then all the furniture and all the little accessories. I was building it, plus a few other houses. He says, "Honey, this is the Malibu dream house. You might as well buy the whole Broad Beach community here in Malibu and just go ahead and just take over." So I was sharing with you, Stephanie, is that one little sentence that's heard by a child can change the trajectory of any person. that one sentence, that one word. That's why when parents or elders speak to children, it is so powerful. We remember it even after 30 or 40 years old. We'll remember it till the day we die. And I just want to mention that words are so powerful, especially to young children and to young people. That what they read is so important. What they watch on TV, the video games, which is kind of like after a while a waste of time, but it's not a learning experience. Actually, reading a book. Now, I didn't read too much fiction except for, philosophy books by Socrates and Aristotle and Rumi. But the question, what I want to share with you is that it's important for parents to give kids books, real books to read, versus putting them in front of a computer because it's a good babysitter.
Absolutely. Dr. Renee, thank you so much for coming on today. And sorry about the technical difficulties, everybody, that we had a little bit earlier. Cindy Lee, thank you so much for running the background like you always do, and appreciate you. For those of you who like to network, please come tomorrow to the virtual networking group. Jim Connolly is going to be our 10-minute speaker tomorrow, and we get to network and collaborate and have a lot of fun. You can do that by joining the Facebook page, which I think Cindy will put up in a second. If you're not in our BAM Connections Facebook community page on Facebook, you need to be. We have a lot of fun there. And with that, thank you, Eric. Thank you for always watching our show and being a good supporter. I will have you as a guest one day. And everybody, have a happy Tuesday. And thank you, Dr. Renee.
All right, take care.
All right.
Bye, Stephanie. Thanks. Great job.
Bye.
Bye, Cindy. Great job, too.
Cindy's just going to put on her little outro, and we'll be out of here.
Oh, outro. Okay. You guys are so genius at this.